My name is Kapil Juneja. I'm going to be the moderator today, asking wonderful panelists here more detailed questions about affiliate marketing, about the CPL lead gen offers, and the stars of the show are sitting right here. We'll have enough time after the panel to discuss more questions. With further ado, let's get started with the introductions. If each of you can mention about your background, the companies that you represent, and your role.
My name is Chris Clark. I'm currently the CMO and co-founder of Walla Media. I've spent 10 years in direct response marketing. The last 5 or so years is basically nothing but internet marketing with an emphasis on performance-based lead generation. Walla Media itself currently acts as an agency as well as a CPA network and publisher. Anything else, Bill?
We are based out of Los Angeles primarily, and we have offices in India, but not for the marketing side, but we're growing our marketing team here, especially the lead gen offers in different sectors such as insurance and travel. My background, I started in affiliate marketing almost 10 years ago. I was an affiliate and then driving a lot of traffic to different offers, owned about 26 websites, doing about $2.5 million in business at the age of 22. Went on to become a super affiliate. Again, did a lot of business, almost $10 million in 2006. Again, under 30. Then we created our own product and became an advertiser. That's what we do now, and it's been a good journey.
Hi, my name is Sunil Abraham. I am the CEO of Lead Cola Affiliate Network, as well as the CEO of Clove Network, which is an ad network based out of India, but most of our publishers are US. We have, on the Lead Cola side of things, we have around 5,000 pubs pushing traffic in education, finance, health, and beauty. We do a lot of our own lead gen activities on our own offers, so we are seeing a dearth of opportunity and like this great market in India. How do we generate these lead gen offers? So we have been doing that for some of the larger guys like Ford. So I can walk you through some of those examples. On the Clove Network side, we do around 2.5 billion impressions a month. Predominantly on the audience-based ad network, so we're doing a lot of internal distribution ourselves on our offers, so we can then bring that knowledge back to our affiliates and train them and help them grow their businesses as well. So that's my background, and before that, I was the CTO and the strategy officer for CX Digital, another affiliate network. We grew it from around 3 million to 120 million in 3 years. And then we switched to more of a owning our own audiences, so we acquired a company by the name of Savo Media. And from our perspective, we have been in this business for a while, and I'm new compared to some of these gentlemen here. 3 years in this business, and hopefully I can answer some of your questions.
Good. Good morning once again. My name is Eric Gerritsen, Vice President of Sales and Business Development for Neverblue. My background is pretty much 20 years solid of startup experience, all in media, and pretty much exclusively digital media since the mid-90s. Spent a lot of time in East Asia, now living in Silicon Valley, working in Victoria, British Columbia. A lot of work as an investor, corporate development, M&A, and international.
Thank you. We'll start with more questions as we had asked Eric. We'll go into a little more details. Some of the questions I prepared are, you mentioned about why the Indian merchants should be doing affiliate marketing and everywhere else to increase sales and increase leads. But what are the other reasons why they should be doing affiliate marketing, and what percentage of the media spend should be reserved for affiliate marketing, comparing it to the US versus what we're doing it here in India?
Shall I
Kick it
start?
off.
All right. There's a couple of approaches that we generally see as ad networks and clients that we work with. One is the company that approaches an affiliate network to incrementally increase the sales that they're already generating from other marketing channels. They may be doing television, print, radio, SEO, etc. And they look to an affiliate network and the affiliate channel to increase the volume of sales that they're receiving by leveraging the reach of potentially hundreds of thousands of affiliates that may own web properties or email lists or different assets that generate traffic that they wouldn't have access to themselves. So that's one I guess type of company that would like to use affiliate marketing or should be using affiliate marketing. The second would be companies that really develop their own sales model around affiliate marketing. Obviously, that's something that we come in contact with fairly heavily. When people see the opportunity, the volume that there's potential for in affiliate marketing, people oftentimes will actually build businesses and offers products around the marketing channel. So that's what we see.
Sunil?
Like one of the challenges I think most of the advertisers, and I've seen both sides of the spectrum, advertisers trying to get into the affiliate marketing business, manage the programs. One of the challenges that they face, and try to do a lot of internal distribution themselves, is they have lack of domain expertise across all the channels. Because a true campaign goes across all channels, right from print all the way to display, mobile, search. You cannot miss out on any one form of advertising. So what affiliates bring to the table is the subject matter and domain expertise in that particular type of traffic. So that's where the networks have those relationships with the affiliates. Now, when it comes to an Indian context, what I see more and more is the fragmentation of the business. So it's very hard to actually maintain your affiliate relationships across all domains. So you need to work with an affiliate network that specializes in a domain, and some of the larger players that have done a good job, like Comely is a very good one that has done a very good job of doing lead generation on display. So if you can take that and then work with networks, advertisers need to work with networks in the Indian context. Otherwise, the cost of managing an affiliate program is high. The technology required to do, as we talked about this morning, the technology that goes into doing fraud detection, and also follow-ups. How do you do a follow-up with that consumer? It's just high, and the cost of the lead eventually just goes up, and the risk to market also goes up. So how do we control? So example, on the display side, if depending upon the traffic source, your performance, the lead cost may just be varying quite a bit. So how do you control the cost as well? So it's often important to work with a network that can understand, and Eric mentioned that there's a lot of experience that we bring to the table of understanding what verticals, what media, and what are the price points, what is the lifetime value of that customer, and what is the cost of that lead that we bring to the table. So it's important for advertisers to work with other networks.
Yeah, I would add to that the reason Indian advertisers and corporates should do performance marketing is because it works. It's almost that simple, and it answers the kind of perennial question, which is I know that half of my advertising works. I just don't know which half, and that's the most difficult question that ad agencies and people who control marketing budgets wrestle with all the time, right? Which is trying to understand ROI and understand where their clients actually come from. This particular channel, if you strip away any of the noise associated with it, that's why it's really powerful, and is because we have the ability to bring, in some cases, hundreds of thousands of valid customers to our clients' doors, kind of week in and week out. So that's I think the key thing. The challenge I think here, at least as I see it, is finding the right companies that have the right kind of back ends for us to attach to. So some of these early companies, I think, will be the ones that are already highly digitized, like travel, perhaps financial services, gaming, where the handoff between our completely digital lead and their digital back end is relatively seamless. Where that breaks down is if we're handing those leads off in a real-time environment to something that has 2 or 3 steps in between until the ultimate conversion happens. That's, I think, more problematic.
Thank you. Also, to address, we've been stuck on the notion that advertisers may or may not pay for the leads, and consumers don't put their credit cards to complete the sale. And there are a lot of offline leads that generate sales. What are the different methods or things that advertisers can do to maximize the potential on a lead, especially when maybe 20-30% of them may not be interested? What are the things that they can do other than if they don't convert online?
Let me start with an anecdote, if I could. And we'll reverse the order again here. But I'm reminded of back in the early days of e-commerce in Japan. There was, let's say, going back about 9 years, there was enormous resistance with Japanese to inputting their credit card, and a disbelief that the good that they had ordered would actually show up, on their doorstep. Huge pushback around that experience. They just kind of often didn't believe that it was going to end correctly. So what a lot of companies, or a handful of really smart companies, did is came up with a kind of a made in Japan approach, which was to have people would order those goods and insert their credit card at that point in time. But rather than have it delivered to their apartment or house, they would have it delivered to the 7-Eleven store that was in their particular neighborhood, because they had the trust factor, right, the cultural trust factor with 7-Eleven, and they just felt very good about the fact that the thing that they ordered would show up at their local 7-Eleven, and it did, and it got over that kind of interim period while those trust issues were being navigated. And I wouldn't be surprised if there are similar situations that will emerge here in India, maybe slightly different set of circumstances, where the connection point between online and offline will get navigated in a uniquely Indian way and get around some of those issues. So.
The way I look at it is, and I mentioned this before as well, is that it's the disconnected nature. Like me being an Indian as well, I like to feel my product, and I like to sit with my insurance agent and negotiate my insurance. That always is going to be the culture. That's not going to go away. Where it becomes an important aspect is to truly understand the value of that customer, and which is the advertiser that's willing to pay for that lead, and how much is the dollars. So what we are taking a completely different approach to it, where we are saying we will do the lead gen under our brands, and we will collect the data, pass it on, do the first level confirmation of the data, and then hand it over to some of the largest lenders out there, like Citibank, to actually let them send their sales force to close the deal. And they will, once they work with us, they will know, what the value of the lead is. So in Indian marketplace, that's the approach that we're taking. It's a little more automated in the North American marketplace. We are connected with lenders online, and we're doing real-time bidding and the valuation of those leads. But in the Indian marketplace, we need to get to that. But I think there's step one. Let's launch communities. Let's launch offers. Let's not wait for advertisers to launch those offers, because it's not going to happen. They're very risk averse. They're going to be moving towards more sale offers because they like that instant gratification of knowing that I've collected the credit card, I've charged, let me get that data. So that's the approach we are taking. So one of the campaigns I mentioned forward, we are doing the lead gen where they're launching a new product, we're doing the lead gen, passing it on to the local local dealer, and they are calling and confirming the test drive. So it's a slightly different approach, and it's working. So that's the approach I would take in India.
No, it seems that that's the exact approach that has to happen because there's a bit of an impasse between what the advertisers want, which is give me your credit card information, let me charge you, then I will give away the product or service, and the user that doesn't want to give up their credit card. So lead gen obviously is generally the answer to that, whereby having a call center process where these leads are being sent real time into someone that's actually doing call verification and passing the lead on then to the actual advertiser if you're aggregating like you guys are, or encouraging our advertisers or you as advertisers to think of more real-time solutions where instead of batching leads over that sit around for a couple of days before you call them, that you look at technology solutions where it goes into a dialer and it's dialed in real time by your call center to connect with that user very quickly after they've decided to give you their information, thereby making that lead more valuable and more likely to actually close in a sale.
Good. Just to add to that, advertisers can further monetize the leads by upselling different products or complementary products to those leads as well, and maximize the potential on the leads. How important is it for advertisers to maintain extremely good relationships with their quality publishers or quality affiliates? You guys have examples and experiences dealing with affiliates. I know Chris, sends them once a week. He sends them iPad and cognac bottles. And why is it so important?
Well, I think this actually goes directly to how Eric opened the keynote, which is, everything that we do is backed by technology, obviously, because we're talking about the internet here, but it's driven by human interaction, and it's oftentimes a very emotional thing for those people that are buying the media and that are actually driving the business, where they can't be treated as machines. You have to understand who it is that you're dealing with and build a relationship. That's something that I don't think will ever change in business, no matter how tech-based the business might be. The decision to buy media and drive traffic to me rather than to Sunil, it may be because of a personal relationship or vice versa. That we actually have a lot of volume comes through our network from people that simply do business with us because they like us and have known me for quite some time. So it's very personal. And it's very important to maintain those relationships. Once again, just like Eric said initially.
I would take two different angles to that, the network angle and then the advertiser angle. I think in any value chain, where it falls apart is transparency and communication. So I think the human aspect, as Chris mentioned, is so critical. Most of the advertisers take a very an approach, they don't care about their publishers. They want to know that their leads are converting, so they'll pay as late as they can, as Eric mentioned in the conversation before. And from a network perspective, you need to add value to the value chain. So from our perspective, we are providing training. It's a very key component because that's, yes, we have super affiliates. They do major part of our business, but I think everyone is trying to get at the supers. So, where we are adding value is let's use the supers to provide training to the affiliates and build them up. So that's been our whole partner, train, grow message. And then that's just one example. We are providing display media buy dollars. So we are saying we will prepay you for your media buy because we trust you that you can grow that business. So we're taking a slightly different angle to it. If you've been with us, we will spend the dollars with you and we will invest in your capabilities. That's on from a network perspective. Advertisers, they have to be transparent. Like if they can truly tell us what are the leads that are converting, truly converting, because a lot of the times they're scrubbing, they are hiding the true value of that lead, and at the end of the day, the brunt of that goes to the affiliate. They are bearing it. So if we can actually create some transparency, and that means we need to create a marketplace that's a little more transparent. So identify the fraudsters, penalize them, but let's reward the guys that are driving genuine traffic. So if we can create that ecosystem, right now everyone is trying to hide their secret sauce. If we can open that up a little, and there's room for everyone to succeed.
Yeah, and just to amplify that, I think on the advertiser side, for us the goal is longevity. Right? We have some advertisers that have literally been with us now since inception, so that's 7 years for the company. Just wonderful, long-standing relationships, and that's really, I think, what we strive for, in all of these situations, because short-termism in this business, it just leads to a lot of wear and tear on the gears, of everybody and all the different aspects of it, and that's not really a nice way to run a business. We're much more interested in these long-term relationships, with, like any long-term relationship, does relate very much to level of trust and transparency and fundamental good kind of business sense. Eliminating traffic that's not working, being relatively straight about that. So that's on that side of it. On the affiliate side, it's intensely personal. In our case, what we do is twice a year we take our top 20 affiliates to wonderful, all expenses paid vacations, different parts of the world. They just finished up one in Cancun, which I understand was a lot of fun, and in a few weeks, or in the summer, it'll be to the Okanagan Valley in British Columbia, and they've done Costa Rica and all kinds of places. And that's really just to reaffirm, kind of on a twice a year basis, who's on the other side of that text or email, and again, making those relationships count for the long haul. That's a core strategy for us.
And from my viewpoint, I think that's where the networks play a very major role with affiliates, because affiliates have been working with the networks for a longer period. They have access to several different offers through the networks, and surprisingly, the younger the affiliate is, the more money he makes. It could be a 23-year-old IT person that could be generating 10,000 leads a month, over $1 million in revenue, and it's just difficult for advertisers to probably understand that how a 23-year-old is generating so much revenue for them. But again, some of the smart affiliates, they have the domain expertise, and that's where they leverage the relationship with networks. If the advertisers have to work with networks, what are the benefits of having an exclusive agency of record relationship versus working with several networks? What are the pros and cons of each?
Yeah, I'll start. Again, I think it relates to this notion of wear and tear. Everybody should do what they're good at in the ecosystem, and for a bunch of these advertisers, managing these very, very dynamic networks is not what they do best. And so in that sense, signing up an AOR relationship with a network can help them get their job done in a more straightforward manner, in a consistent manner, and let them do their pricing and strategizing, which is what they should be doing well. Yeah.
Like I'm an advertiser myself, so we have our own offers, around 16 of them, and the way we work is we work with a few AORs. So basically we look at a few networks that we have relationships with, not like 15, maybe 3, and focus on, say, example, if it's an email network, then like a mailers network, or it could be display and search, like depending upon the type of traffic, and then segment your campaigns according to the AORs. That's one way we have done it. The approach that, the managing of all the sources of traffic tends to be challenging, right? So if you open it up to 15 networks, where is the quality bad? Like all this rebrokering that takes place, where does it come in, and who is the real source of the traffic? It becomes challenging. So I agree with Eric. There's that experience that larger networks bring when it comes to understanding those segments. That's definitely important. We have also taken the other approach. Forget the networks. We would take one offer. As an example, I have one health and beauty offer. We need to do 300 leads a day. I'm getting it from one affiliate. So it's exclusive to that affiliate. So I know how he's running the traffic, where his placements are, and what's my quality of lead. The day he messes up is the day he loses that exclusivity. So again, we adjust, depending upon case-by-case basis, I would say that depending upon the lead volume you need, you could choose your number of networks you work with.
I think that an AOR relationship can oftentimes be beneficial, just as Eric said, because it becomes one point of contact where all of your traffic goes through. It allows you, rather than managing relationships where you may have 10 account executives across several networks that specialize in different things that you have to keep tabs on and communicate with, as a merchant, instead of focusing on those relationships, you can focus on optimizing your back end, making sure that you're monetizing your traffic as best you can, and that you're strengthening the ROI once you've received the lead or sale data, to make yourself a stronger advertiser. But I think it really depends upon the experience of the people that are running the company as an advertiser, the nature of the product, and several things where, depending upon the type of product, it may be beneficial to just get it out there with lots of affiliate networks. If you're not afraid of fraud or things of that nature, and you really want very high volume of traffic where quality may not be as much of an issue. Whereas for us, for our primary product, which is Dish Network, which is a very large brand in the U.S., we can't do that simply for compliance processes. That compliance oftentimes breaks down when more brokers get involved. Usually less rules are applied to the type of traffic that you receive. So if you're an agency dealing with something that's branded and you really have to make sure that those brand guidelines are followed and not violated, oftentimes going with one point of contact, an AOR that really manages that process for you, can be very beneficial. That's what we do.
Also, I'd like to add, network or an agency does a lot of work to make a successful campaign for the advertiser. There's a lot behind making the product into an offer that converts. There's design elements, there's A/B testing, there's optimization, every day going through the analytics to see which publishers are converting, which publishers are not converting. And that drives me to the next question. What are the technology, how do networks or advertisers use the technology in the US market and other advanced places to track affiliates and the traffic generated? What are the advantages also for using the technology?
Can we clarify that question?
So technology tools help you better monitor the conversions. So, and that's what drives the lead price.
Sure. So from a conversion perspective, there's a lot of technology out there, but I mean, to monitor and refine conversions, it's as easy as utilizing some of the basic Google tools, I think. Google Optimizer being a massive help to our business and optimization process, and Google Analytics. So between those two tools, with Google Analytics, you know where is your traffic coming from, what sort of operating systems are they utilizing, the types of browser, a lot of demographic information which can correlate to design and content and the way that you are targeting your actual offer towards your incoming traffic. There's a lot of tricks to these things that you could research, but someone that's very keen on optimization might know that if they have a younger demographic coming to the page, they're probably going to make their font size smaller or larger if it's an older crowd, things of that nature. The technology can't necessarily tell you how to do that part of it, but what technology can do is tell you when you change these elements, what are the results, which is what Google Optimizer would do to be able to split test your traffic, which is highly recommended as an advertiser. You need to be constantly changing different elements on your landing page and creative to identify the best converting layouts and content, whether your submit button needs to be red or blue, or whether your headline needs to be large or small, or what is the headline. All of these things need to be tested. You're never going to know right out of the box that you have the absolute winner. That doesn't happen. So by utilizing these easy-to-use technologies, you can really refine the conversion process. And if you're spending money, as an advertiser, whether you're paying on a CPC, you've already paid for the click, so now you need to monetize that traffic as best as you possibly can. Or if you're paying on a CPL, you want that traffic to convert at the absolute highest rate so that affiliates like the offer better and you get more leads. So there's 1,000 reasons why people need to utilize technology, but I can tell you very basically easy to access technology, and something everyone as an advertiser should use is Google Analytics and Google Optimizer.
Depending on the source of traffic, I say, for example, we do some internal distribution as well, and some of our affiliates we talk to very carefully, and they use different tools. They'll be, if it's PPV, they'll use PPV Spy as an example, just to find out what kind of keywords are performing well for them. Depending upon the type of affiliate you are, you need to use the tools that are important to your subject matter. On the network side of things, we're looking at banner optimization. So simple things like how can we assemble banners on real time based on your geo-IP as an example, just simple geo-IP. That's one example. And then from there, once a click lands onto your landing page, how can you assemble the right landing page based on your demographic that you're driving in? So it's important to understand the audience. So where we get all those learnings are from our DSP platform that we own. It's a demand-side platform where we do all our real-time bidding and real-time performance optimization through algorithms and humans. I totally agree with Eric when he mentioned it's not an algorithm world. Algorithm needs to be applied to actually optimize the funnel, to learn more about the funnel, what's converting, and to predict or to project onto a larger audience. That's where you need algorithm. Where you need humans is to see which banner is going to convert, a few variations of the banner, a few variations of the landing page. So we'll often work with our affiliates to build landing pages for them very specifically. That landing page will go for that affiliate because we have asked them what kind of traffic do they drive, and then create a landing page that works for them. Now, some affiliate may say, can I take that and run that? And we always say that, chances are it won't work. So depending upon the tool sets, Google Analytics definitely, there's a number of tools that's available through the funnel that there are tools. If you're in the display world, AdChemy is a great tool. It's available out there that provides end-to-end funnel optimization. So there's a number of tools depending on the source of traffic.
Optimization, I think, is a really interesting combination of art and science. The art side of it is the human judgment, and so our affiliates are constantly using their judgment around what will make a campaign work or not, and I'm constantly amazed, at the kind of ingeniousness that affiliates bring to that challenge. They notice and understand very, very tiny differentiations. Let's say it's a dating campaign, and if the female image, is looking in this direction or with this particular type of clothing or this activity, it means X to conversion. Or if it's a guy and he's on a motorcycle versus, rock climbing, or endless variations that machines, will never really get to. It's really kind of a fascinating, really artistic sensibility, I would say, ultimately. That married to a very intensely detailed, trackable back-end function. For us, that's kind of where the magic happens is, if we're running literally thousands of campaigns a day all around the world in all kinds of media environments, making sure that we can track each of those slight variations that affiliates may bring to it, right down to the sub-ID level and campaign identity level. That's where we can jump in and give the affiliate feedback on whether his or her decisions around creative are actually having a noticeable difference or not. And that loop, which is part human, part technology, that's kind of where it works for us.
I'd just like to add quickly, Kapil, if you don't mind. There was a scenario where one of my affiliates was getting around 65% conversion rate and a high CTR, 100% CTR, and we challenged him, and the leads were great. So he said he printed flyers, he walked to all the people around there, and he dropped flyers with his affiliate link. So he was taking the example of online to offline and then marrying it back. And he was doing it effectively, and our advertiser didn't mind for the lead because it was genuine leads. It was not fraudulent leads. So depending upon, there could be some tactics that people apply. The best way to learn, honestly, is go to the Black Hat forums, go to Wicked Fire, and all these places where, people are discussing openly the kind of tools that they're using to actually make the campaigns work and the tactics they're using. Of course, we condone some of these tactics like flogs and, false news sites and all that. But there are tactics that they use that are working for them. So learning from others in the business is a good way of doing it.
Also, technology really helps in the lead generation part, where, for example, right now, instead of even paying for a simple form lead with the first name, last name, telephone numbers, we have some campaigns where we only pay for the zip code. So it's $1.50 for every zip that the customer enters. And that's, of course, we have to know really which affiliate we're working with and how's his quality and where is he's publishing. But technology, if you're monitoring your traffic very closely, you see how many people enter the zip code, and then out of those, how many enter their basic information, and then go to the third page of how many actually enter the credit card. If you follow the funnel very closely using the technology tools, either inbuilt or releasing them, you can pay for a zip. You can pay very, very specific instead of just going with the CPS or even CPL model. My last question before we open up for the audience is, in India, a lot of companies spend their advertising dollars on branding and very less on direct response. And I'm sure in US also it was largely the case several years ago. And as in US, the advertisers continue to move more and more towards direct response and affiliate marketing or pay for performance, where they actually see the result, see the sale by spending dollars. what is your viewpoint? How does that transition happen, and it's applicable to India?
I think agencies will play an interesting role in this, right? In that they, in many cases, are the caretakers and the gatekeepers of brands, and it's interesting because in many ways it's not in their interest to see us succeed, right? And because kind of who needs the agency if they're dealing direct with us and finding the customers ultimately that they want. But that's probably an oversimplification. I do think that there's an important kind of cooperation between performance marketing companies like us and agencies, particularly in markets like India, where a certain amount of education is going to need to go on, and with the corporates and the advertisers. So I would, certainly one of our intentions going forward over the next year or two is to form those relationships correctly, with agencies and help tell the story, right? And correctly help migrate some of that budget that's currently being spent in a brand environment over to direct marketing, which is, and at the end of the day, you want a bit of both. And right now it's probably heavily over on the brand side, and that should probably calibrate better for corporates to include the direct marketing piece. And that's a dialogue that will simply just need to go on.
I'll just take a real example on that one. Like the example that we are seeing is products go through two phases, right? One is the brand phase, which is awareness phase, and then they move into a lead gen phase. And we are working with one of the largest publishers in Canada called Globe and Mail, where we are the exclusive ad network with them. They're facing the major challenges. The brand side is not growing at the pace that where performance is growing, and they are not equipped to do performance. So where the challenge is, the growth, if you look at some of the numbers, is around 26% growth year over year on performance side, whereas brand may be growing 3 to 4% year over year. So it's going to be one of the challenges where publishers need to catch up with performance. They need to be able to open their publisher traffic up for performance. Advertisers need to embrace that. Advertisers are asking for that. So it really depends upon the stage where you are in the product launch. I think brand is definitely going to go more for engagement. So gone are the days where I'm going to buy 1 million impressions on some tier 2 site and that'll be good. Because a lot of the ad agencies, as Eric mentioned, they were compensated on the wrong side of the equation. So they were compensated on the total media spend. So I'm getting 10-15% of the total media spend. Why am I going to drive efficiencies out of it? So, more and more advertisers are asking for brand engagement. So now I need to know that someone, for example, the one campaign we're running right now, I think, is for MMT, Make My Trip, where they're saying, search. I'm interested in search traffic. So the banner, I want that impression, but I want to know someone interacted and did a search on that. So again, it's that hybrid between brand and performance is where I see a lot of Indian agencies working. I'm going to be forced to work.
I think I agree with both of you. I'll take a different perspective on answering the question. Something that all of us have seen on the U.S. side in terms of brands entering the performance marketing space, and a real barrier to entry in affiliate marketing specifically has been compliance, something I mentioned before, which has kind of stopped those dollars from coming through because of kind of the wild, wild west habits of affiliates and brands appearing places they don't want to appear and being advertised in ways they don't want to be advertised, which is something that is driving change in the U.S. market of affiliate marketing, because especially from an affiliate network perspective, we want those dollars, right? We would like to have big brand dollars, but many of them are afraid to pump the money in because of these compliance issues. So understanding the pitfalls and the things that we've already gone through in the U.S., this is one major advantage that anyone entering the affiliate marketing space in India could potentially have, is kind of reverse engineering the way that you build your marketing company. If you desire to be a network or an affiliate, that from the very beginning you engineer your process and the way that you're marketing to kind of align with those brand compliances and set yourself up in such a way that when the time comes that these brands are really excited about affiliate marketing, that you can be an outlet for that because of compliance procedures that are already there, and having known that this is going to be a problem and avoiding it from the very beginning. Because I think so many U.S.-based affiliates are very hooked on non-compliant habits, which is a very short-term mindset, and it's costing them now, especially as Eric mentioned, with the FTC stepping in and other regulatory bodies saying, no, you can't do that. It's deceptive to the user. Rather than being put in that position with short-term revenues from those sort of marketing habits, to from the very beginning strategize to be brand and compliance friendly.